Hello guys, welcome to CloudVi. In today's sessions I am going to discuss about the ETL transformations easy technique in AWS Glue. Okay, this is a Glue ETL process overview diagram, though this is the video is not going to say about this how to transfer the data from S3 to some other database. This is I already discussed in my earlier video. I am going to focus on more about the ETL transformations, how we can transform, and what is the easiest way to do kind of a transformations like join or any kind of mapping or removing column, column is something like that. So what I have figured out that sometimes it is little bit tricky to find out how to do these transformations if you don't know any kind of language like Python, Spark. So if you go by the book or go by the default, your option is very limited, but it is very tricky to do the real type of transformation. So I did find a way, and I feel this is quite an easy way, and I want to share with you. Before concentrating to the actual ETL work, I just want to go through quickly of the heads up what we are going to do. We will be using a Amazon S3 public bucket, and where there is some JSON files as a source. So there are 5 out of it, but I will be using 3 in my this demo. So I will be running the AWS Glue crawlers, and we'll be creating the tables in the database, and we'll be creating a database, and there will be 2 prerequisite steps will be needed. One is Amazon VPC endpoints for S3 and setting a VPC JDBC data stores. That these 2 steps need to be done before creating the Glue crawlers, because the VPC, because it's required that so that VPC endpoints enables AWS Glues to use private IP address to access Amazon S3 without sending the traffic to the public internet. So that's why this VPC endpoint for S3 will be required. The secondly will be also required this setting up a VPC connect to the JDBC data store. That for target, my target will be a MariaDB, but target could be Redshift, target could be S3, anything, but I'll be using MariaDB because it's cheap. Okay, so here the JDBC data source, that is another thing you need to understand, that is quite special. Either you need to have a 3306 definitely for the security groups. So another thing is a little bit unique for the security groups, which is called a self-referencing rules, where type all TCP protocols port range including all ports and whose destinations is the same security group mentioned in the group ID. That means suppose your security group called ABCDE. So whenever you are putting an inbound rule, you have to put the inbound rule for the alt TCP, and the destination is the security group itself. So I will be showing you what that means, and after that we will be initiate the ETL jobs, where in the ETL job itself where you have to do the ETL transformation, which is the main topic today, and after that you can do the load. Okay, so let's go to the hands-on so that we can I can show you what's there. Okay, I'll go to the first my VPC. What is the VPC? I'll be using a default VPC here. So this is my VPC. I'll go to the VPC. So this is the default VPC I am going to use, and there is the endpoints. This is the endpoints. You know how to create an endpoint, S3 endpoint. So for this endpoint, if I'll go to the subnets, there is already an entry for the subnets in the route table. I believe this one. Okay, I'll go to the route tables. I believe this route tables having route. Yeah, you can see that this route tables is already having a corresponding entry for the VPC endpoints. Okay, and now the last things I want to show you for the JDBC connections. I already have a security groups called launch wizard 4. Yeah, forget about these things because I use it for all these things. So only the two things will be required along with the HTTP. This is TCP. This is for 3306. I'll be using for MariaDB 3306 port and all TCP, which I was talking about. Self-referencing rule, as I said, that this is my security group, and so that I will given the self-referencing security groups as required for this glue operations. So rest of the things I already started MariaDB. This is my target. Okay, so let's go to glue, because I'll be doing everything in the glue itself. Okay, so another thing I'll be using, this is the Amazon document. I'll be using their public one public bucket where they are having some following JSON files. Okay, so I'll go to the glue, and first of all I'll go to the crawlers. I'll add crawler name. I'll giving form s3. Okay, and data stores crawler all folders. For this is required only for JDBC. For here I have to give in the s3 path. This is the s3 path. This is the public s3 provided by AWS. Exclude pattern, no, it's not required. Next, add another data stores, no. IAM role, I can create IAM role. Let's create IAM role. Glue for demo 1. Okay, whatever. Run on demand frequency is, for me it's run on demand. It's okay. Database, let me put a database name. Say add database. Database name is cloud by demo or cloud by demo. Create. Next, finish. So crawler is now ready. I'll select the crawler and run crawler. It can take maybe a minute. So once it is done, I will show you how the tables looks like. Now you can see this it's already run. So I'll go to the tables. You can see that this 1 2 3 4 5 6 tables they come. Now there are many things you can do in a table, like you can edit tables. If you want something, what is the, there is, I already have a video. I am not going into the details. You can edit schema. You can change any of this, like you can change these things to date. Sometimes, most of the time the date is the culprit. I have seen you can put the date. Many things you can do that, like but I am not going to concentrate on these things, because this stuff, so I already having a video. I'll provide the link on that. So this is not my concern for this particular demo. Okay, so tables are come. I'll go to the connections. I'll just try to add our connections. I'll put a connections as target, and connection type is RDS. Database engine is MariaDB. Next, instance is this. I know the my instance. I'll put this as, already this as a connections. Finish. Okay, this will be, I will be using these connections for my target. So for the next steps, I'll immediately jump into the jobs. Okay, add job. Let me put my job as a default ETL job 1. Okay, why I'll put a default? Because here I'll be showing you the easiest one. What is my demo? This is my demo. and here I am not changing anything because for demo you have to choose the default options. If you choose any other thing, the demo part, this the proposed scripts generated by the AWS GUI won't come. Like, you know, if I'll choose these things, maybe the Spark streaming will come, but it's not come from the Python and all these things. Okay, so I have to choose Spark. Rest of the things put it as a default, doesn't matter, put next. Okay, here okay, first let me do it for first of all I will be doing for a demo, so let me do it for the person. Okay, next, change schema. Okay, and I will want to create a table that your data target. Okay, and already the target is taken, database name is testdb. Next, so you can say that it's already taken. Okay, the values are already taken from here. So if you want, you can let me clear some of the columns. Like, let me put this one links. Let me put identifiers. Okay, let me put this short name. And maybe last one, whatever, doesn't matter, but it is, they're pointing correct. Okay, and they're matching this, the column name should be matched, but it is automatically matching because I have removed just few columns. So save job and edit scripts. So you can see that it gives me a automatic scripts generated by the glue. Okay, let me go through what is there. So this is the portions where the libraries and all these things comes from the glue. The second portions, this is the data source 0. So what is there? The data source 0 and database is cloud by demo, which is my source side. Table name is the person.json because that I used. This is also source, and then transformation ctx, same as the data source 0. Okay, so the second things what I did a mapping. I am using another one source table called membership.json. So I'll choose the membership.json and click add. You can see this, I get another portions of the boilerplate. Okay, so I'll change this as a, put the as mem. Okay, and I'll also put the transformation ctx as a mem. Okay, that's it. Second thing, I am just going to exactly copy the apply mapping. I'll copy from the default and on the below of mem, just for the memberships, I'll paste it here. Okay, so what I did, I just copy the same things here. What I'm going to do, okay, I'll change these things as okay, let me change this thing as person, and let me change this thing, some of the stuff, so let me change so that there will be a consistency, because since I will be using here for multiple table. Okay, just few things I'm changing from the default. Okay, I am also changing here the same name, not here, here, that is commented out. Okay, yeah, I change. So here it should be person. As I said, the name should be this portions of the boilerplate comes from here, and this is person. So I will copy the, and I will put the same name in the transformations ctx. Okay, so here the same way I'll add as a suffix as a person, change these things, the frame suffix as a person, just to, you know, you can see this frame has come from here, and here also as a person. So this I did just to maintain some consistency. So here the same way I am going to do, this is for membership, I'll change for mem, and here is also change transformation ctx as a mem. Similar way it should be the frame is mem, because it came from this part of the boilerplate, mem. Now I have to do some kind of interesting steps. These mappings is relevant for a person table, but for mem I don't know what is there. So what I will going to do that, I'll go to the table. So table, I'll put the, choose the membership JSON, scroll down, it's having this kind of columns. Now the question is, what are the columns I'm going to choose? I need to have some kind of common columns where I'll do join later, because the join maybe I'll using the person ID for mem, and table for persons, maybe ID. Here this I'll be my joining columns. So maybe I'll try to exclude some of the other columns. Maybe I'll use area ID, I'll use organization ID, I use person ID, and some maybe 2 or 3. Okay, let's do that. So I'll change here area ID, because these are the columns relevant to membership, and I have to change everywhere. I can change some of the things here, like it could be strings or something. That portions I am not changing, so I am just doing the mapping. First I'll choose the area ID. Next maybe I'll choose the organizations ID. Whatever columns, whatever column I feel, I can put it here, organizations ID. But if I don't want to change the names, I have to put same name for mapping. Okay, target as well. Maybe organizations ID. Maybe I can put role. And then person ID. Person ID. Next is maybe that's it, that's enough. There is something called maybe I can put, okay, that is enough. So I can put other columns as well, but let me think that is enough. So these portions I am going to omit or remove. Even if you want, you can put all the columns, there is no restrictions. So I put area ID, organization ID, role, person ID. Okay, so I can, here I put area ID, organization ID, role and person ID from this membership table. Okay, that's great. So the next steps, which I am definitely copy, I'll be copying this resolve choice. Similarly, I'll be copying from my default for persons for membership. So I'll copy here. I'll also change these things for mem. Okay, my frame is apply mapping 1 mem. I'll change this to mem. Okay, and transformation ctx is also mem. So this is same. Okay, that's great. The next things, I am going to copy the drop null fields. Okay, well, now the next phase, I have done the resolve choice. The next phase I can do the drop null fields, but I'll decide the drop null fields. Maybe I'll do I am going to join these two tables. Maybe the drop null fields is not required now. It will be required once the two tables are joined. We will do it later. Okay, so the next things what I am going to do here, I am going to do a transformations options. I'll put the transform and I'll join these two tables. Okay, so I'll put as a person mem. The frame 1 is the last option, frame 1. Okay, maybe this drop null fields I will going to use later, not now. Okay, maybe for person I'm going to use this field as my final field for person, and similarly for mem this is the final one. Okay, because this is the final one, so after resolve choice, whatever the final list I got, so I'll be using as thing, and I will be using that two tables join. Now what should be the key should be some kind of joining column. Now if you'll see this person mem, okay, in that is for no, this is person mem person, so I'll go to the person table. In the person table, as I said, ID, person ID is the ID column, and similarly for memberships, person ID, so ID and person ID. So here person mem, in between the double inverted comma, this is for table persons ID, and key 2 is for mem, that is membership, that is column is person ID. Okay, let me put the transformation context same as the name in the boilerplate. Okay, sorry. So my table got joined. Now I am going to use these drop null fields. Where the drop null fields was there? It was there earlier, I have not used. So I am copying this from the default one, drop null fields, cut, maybe not copy, cut, and then I'll paste here the default one. I am going to change it now. So drop null fields, since this is not only a person now, this is for person mem, and what is the frame should be person mem, right, because that is the joint table, person mem frame, and the context names is also I'll put the same as the frame, person mem. So here this I also drop null fields. Now what I am going to do, okay, so here I can directly change my DB table name, and I can put target, or I can even select. Okay, let's do the select the later way. Let's do it one by one. Okay, let's try to try to put into the different table. Okay, whatever we did what two things we did. We get the table, two tables, we join the two tables, then we are not going to what we are going to do, we are now putting into the target. So I'll be putting as a target as person membership. I'll write as a target. Now this is this is the target, this is the connection details as the target. I cannot change that. Okay, DB table I can change here, person membership. Here let me put as a frame. This is the frame I am going to use for my context right dynamic frame to the JDBC configuration. That means I'll be putting these things to my target table, and this name is not this I can put the data sync 4, that is okay, or whatever the name you want. Okay, so I have already changed these things. Catalog connections target, and connection of our DB table name, I change the DB table name as a person memberships. Okay, so save and run job. Okay, this might be taking a minute or few minutes, so I'll come back once it's done. This got failed. You can see this is the error here. Okay, this is saying there is some kind of syntax error. You can see directly why the syntax error. I missed one double quote. Okay, so here the double quote I missed. It should be a double quote. So everything looks fine. I'll save and run job again. Is there, you can see that it is also a typo, syntax mistake. There is, frame should be apply mapping mem, which I put as a me. So these are the things you need to be very careful about, mistakes, and I am quite good at this, doing the mistakes. So hopefully this is the last one. I did the Gupta. So save and run job. Glue job is ended. Before going into the logs, let me go back to my SQL Electron, and you can see that the table is come. So you can see this is the column is coming, and this is the table data. So what are the column things we have chosen, or combine of these two factors we can come. We can also limit, definitely maybe the third test. We can see how we can limit this particular fields. Okay, now we'll go back to the logs. There is something interesting, that's why I want to show you. You can see this is also failed. Okay, though it is said it is failed, it's incrementing. The first time it got failed with syntax error, where we have done the mistakes of not double quote. Second things, we have put this it should be mem, we have put this me. And third error is too many connections. This is something interesting. This is not actually an error. What happens that I am not actually closing this glue job, since I will be appending these jobs and transformation. So I am not appending. Sometimes this error comes, so you have to either close the jobs, or you can just for this test operations, or you can just reset the connection by rebooting the database, or just close the jobs. Maybe you can copy the jobs from text pad and then run the jobs again, or something like that. Maybe since it is test, I am just resetting the connections for my test. Okay, so though it's saying failed, but when I go to the error logs, I can't see any kind of error. So this is succeed, but though maybe once time it was errored out, but there is no error. So there is, otherwise you can see some kind of error here. There is no error. Maybe we can check here, fail, no error. Okay, what is there? Is there any error? There is no error. So it actually works. Okay, so we can get the in this test what we got two tables, and we join the tables. It's also quite simple. Okay, it's also got quite simple. So in the next phase, what I'm going to use, I am going to use another tables, and we'll do some kind of more options. These steps, so you can, I believe by doing that, you understand how we can use the multiple source, and you can use some kind of what kind of transformations option you can use that, and how you can merge the tables and get the data into a single target tables. Okay, so in my third steps, what I am going to do, I will be taking another source as an organization. Okay, so before join here I'll be taking another source as an organization. Okay, so similarly I'll name these things as a org, and okay, so next two portions I am going to copy. That means the apply mapping and resolve choice. So I'll copy from previous ones and I'll just paste here. Okay, so for here let me name it as org. Similarly I am changing here frame as a org. Okay, now for the mapping, what are the mapping I am going to use? Similarly I will go to the logs, AWS glue, tables, organizations. This is a big one, not big one, so I have to decide which are the things I am going to use. Okay, maybe I'll use identifiers. Okay, let me put as a identifiers okay, next things maybe I can put as other names. Okay, other names, okay, next thing I'll put as a ID. Okay, and maybe name. Maybe that is enough. Yeah, you can put all columns if you want, but the thing is same. Okay, it is org. Okay, similarly this is org. Org. Okay, next thing what I am going to do after this join in between person and memberships, I am going to join again. I am going to join with the person membership table, membership frame with my organization frame. So I'll putting a join again, transform, join. So here let me use the join as a person mem org. Okay, frame 1 is person mem, frame 2 is org. Now what is the keys? Okay, I'll go to the person mem table, person membership table. This is the person membership table. You can see person ID, or okay, not okay, person name. Okay, here for person name, okay, I'll go to the person table. Organizations ID, why it is not coming? Saying that, you know, here you can see I was what little bit baffled about the why it is organizations. This is because I put it here as a organizations. This table mapping, this is not a problem, you can put any name in the target, but organization ID looks good, so that's why I change here for applying mem. Okay, now for joining, first join for person mem should be organizations ID, organization ID, and this is organizations ID, and for organizations this is ID. Okay, and for the key 2 this should be join is a column ID. Okay, here person org mem, okay, you got it. So we join person mem to org, that is organizations, and keys for person mem is organization ID. This is person mem should be, it's coming from the memberships. It's organizations ID, and for organizations the column is ID. Okay, that's great. Now the next steps what I am gonna do, I'll be doing another one, mapping, so that we can map the tables, map the columns in the final table. Maybe I'll copy again, copy, and I'll paste right after my second join. Okay, so here my join name should be mem person orgs. Okay, yes, I know that it's a big name, but it's for 3 tables. Frame should be this is the frame, because I will be using the person mem org. Now what are the things we are going to use? I can take some of the tables from here, maybe area ID is good, organization's ID is good, role is good, person ID is good. I need some more. Okay, so maybe I'll copy. Okay, maybe I need family name, gender, birth date, family name. I'll change some of the things here. Okay, here as you see earlier, I mistakenly changed some of the organizations ID to organizations in the target table. Here I will be deliberately changing something. Family full name or role name. Okay, I will be deliberately changing some of the things so that this is doesn't mean this will be work absolutely fine. Family name, maybe I can change something. Contact details, contact details. Here contact details, and I also can change. Okay, now I'll put something from org. Maybe 3 tables would be fine. I'll be taking some org. This is the org. This is org. Maybe I'll put identifiers. FIRS. Okay, I'll put as a identifier. I'll just not put a S. That's because just I want to show you that this doesn't it can change, the column names also change. That is my sole purpose. Did I put name? No. Name, and maybe I'll put a last one as seats. Now I'll put something as a value, maybe a string. I'll try to put as a int. Okay, now the another things I want to do that drop null fields. Okay, org, I'll change the frame. org. This is a little bit painstaking and you have to be very careful in this way. This takes a hell lot of time for me. Okay, the last thing is data sync. You know that I'll be using this frame and as a frame is org. Catalog connection is that. What is the connections options? DB table name. I'll be using as a org person mem org. Mem org. Okay. So fully everything is good. I'll just check these frames. They should tally, otherwise we'll get error. Syntax are very required. Okay, not sure. Okay, let me run. So let it run. It will run for a couple of minutes and I will come back once it's done. My ETL job is now finished. Let me go through the go to the SQL Electron. You can see that the table has come. It's having these columns we have chosen. We have chosen the columns here: area ID, organization's ID, role name, person ID, family full name, contact details. You can see this. The columns also name is also got changed, like identifier, contact details, full name. Okay. So looks it is working. I'll go back to the jobs now. Okay, you can see it is succeeded. So you can see this value got come. That is in this my MariaDB table. So this is the three or four examples. Three examples I'm showing here. I believe you can derive multiple tables. I can use another all fives if I have some columns to join, and I can use any functions. I can use the functions like, there are a lot of functions I can use. I can use the drop fields, filter, map collections, rationalize. So there are a lot of rename field, these are the many other transformations we can use, but we have to use it a similar way. It is a kind of a you can see this transformations applying, that if I'll generate these things, okay, maybe it won't generate. Okay, but you got a idea that once we have to derive, we have to have a source, then some of the things mapping we have reconfigure, and some of the columns we have negate or we have to remove, and then we resolve the choice, and then some of the then the other data source, we use the three data source for memberships, persons and the organizations, and then we did the two joins, first with the memberships and persons and memberships. The second join we done with this particular join table with organizations. So similar way you can do it for the multiple tables, okay, multiple data sources. And only the things very careful about the syntax, because syntax should be perfect. As you see, I have done 2 mistakes, and so that I have to correct it and run it again. And I find this is the easiest way to do any kind of ETL transformations using this glue default ETL job. I have and then copy the glue default ETL job and change it accordingly. Okay, so guys, I believe this video will be helpful and you can try yourself to this kind of transformations at your side. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Bye.